Good evening, everyone. So today we are going to discuss about file processing, right? How to interact with file, how to save your data in a file, and all these things, right? So for demonstration purpose, I have some data here, right? Okay. I have one CSV file. Okay, you can create any CSV file of your life. Right? So what is a CSV file? Comma separated value. The first line consists of this one is repeated twice. Okay. The first line consists of the columns and all the remaining lines consist of the data for each column. Okay. The first one, this first value before the comma, this is the error, and this is the total count of the error. Right? So this one is the parsed message CSV. Now this is how a CSV, a log file will look like, right? A server log, your system log. It will a log file contains the detailed information about each success ticket or each error, right? And our aim is to create this type of CSV file from that log file. Okay. Our aim is to parse this log file and count the different types of error and their frequency of each error. Okay. So we are going to practice this today. Okay. Consider this system log as your raw file. This is your input file. Your target is to create this file, right? Okay. Now, before moving to logs and all, okay, let's first talk about some of the modules, uh, especially the OS module, right? So, now what is a OS module? In different scenarios, for example, wait, okay. Now, this command prompt and this VS code both are open in the same directory, right? Inside same directory. Suppose if I want to run any command, okay, command like open any file or to see the data of any file, I can use commands, right? In Linux, the command is cat or echo, okay, right? So you can write those commands to check for directories, okay. Similar type of concepts is here. Using OS module, you can run different commands, okay, command line commands in a system, right? For example, suppose I want to check the size. I want to check the size of this system log file. Okay, so OS dot, and inside this function, you just have to pass the name of the file. Okay, 8334. Now, what is this 8334? Okay, system log. See, that 8334 is the total byte size of the file, right? Total bytes this particular file is taking. Okay, you can check the size of any file you want. For example, instead of system logs, I can use d3.ipynb. Okay, this is the total byte size, right? Okay, so now suppose you want to check that when was the last time this particular file, any particular file is updated, right? So everything is inside path dot get modified modification time, and let's use system log, and it's a very big number. Not, you are not able to just read this one, so you have to again pass this to a date object, right? Give them a variable print a print b, all these things, right? Now using OS you can navigate to some other folders. Okay, and for example, suppose I have a folder here, right? The name of the folder is PyCatch, and there are some data. Okay. Now, how to open a folder inside your system? See, for reading any log file or any different type of file. Suppose if I will put my log file inside this PyCatch, right? And my data is here. Okay, means my script is here. My Python script is written in this folder, but my system log file is again present in another folder. I will get an error, and the error is that Python is not able to find this particular file. So whenever I am working with any file system, I have to provide the absolute path to that particular file. In this case, the absolute path will be, this one is not absolute path, it's a relative path. Okay. See, now it's okay, because what is this one? This is the name of the directory, uh, slash to move inside the directory, and now Python will look for this particular file inside that directory. Similar to a command prompt command, right? CD command to move uh, outside or inside a path, right? Okay. Now suppose if I want the absolute path of this file, absolute path means path from the beginning, right? This is a relative path. Relative path means this particular path depends to this script. If again I will change the location of this D4 script, then again we will get an error. Okay. If I will change the location of, suppose if I will create a temp folder, okay, and I will move this inside this temp folder, again the paths are different. In this case, what I will get? Wait. Again, I will get an error, right? Okay, let's remove this one. Again, I will get an error for this one. Why? Because this particular folder doesn't know the location of this folder, PyCatch. So what we have to do, we have to first move back, change directory, dot dot, right? KB system cannot specify. Now, this get CWD function, it will give you the current directory you are working on right now, the path of the directory inside which you are working. Okay. So this is the directory in which I am working right now. Okay. Okay. Now let's move to this absolute path. Okay. So how to get absolute path of any particular file? For that, suppose apps path, what we will do, os.path dot apps path, and we will provide the relative path to this file, and let's print apps path. Okay. Again, not able to possess one of plans specific. Catch any error with this one. Okay. So this one is considered as a relative, I mean absolute path. Whenever you are anywhere in the system, your code is anywhere in your system, like in another drive C drive, D drive, E drive, or any another directory, this particular path is enough to let you access the system log files. Let you access a particular system log files. Right now, I will try to print the current working directory. This is my current working directory. Right? Okay, and I have to open a command prompt. Okay, see, this is my current working directory. If I have to move one directory back, okay, what we will do, cd dot, we will move to one, just up one to the previous directory, right? This similar operation you can perform by using change directory in OS, right? Okay, this one. Okay, this is going to throw an error. Yeah. See, before changing the directory, we are working on this directory, but after that, we have changed the directory. We have moved just one step back. Okay, dot dot, right? So now we are working with this Python directory. It is essential to learn this, I mean, these simple commands of OS if you want to work with file systems. Okay, now, okay, let me arrange all these. Okay, code OS, right? What I want to access this particular file, right? So first of all, let's move inside. Okay, now what? So suppose you are working, you are writing a script, and I don't know that there are how many different types of directories are there, right? This PyCatch, temp, and there may be n number of directories, right? So what I will try to do, os dot get current working directory, right? And save the name here. If I will print a current working directory, Python. Okay, this is giving me this directory. Suppose let's try to move to Python PS capital or small capital. Yes. See guys. So right now, if you will look into my, yeah, directory structure, this is current directory D workspace. Inside that, I am inside this Python folder. Inside that, I am inside Octanet folder, right? But right now, the current directory I am getting here, this one is up till Python. Okay. After Python, I am inside two more directories, Python, Octanet, and 8, right? We are not getting that directory. Why? Because I have opened 8 from here, forward right click, and using VS Code I have opened this one here, and we are getting the working directory, I mean the working location of their parent directory. Octanet is the parent directory of forward slash 8. So we are getting the forward slash 8 of Python, right? So now A is my current working directory. If I want to list all these folders, I want to list all these folders. Okay, how I will do that? I mean, let's do, and let's pass the name. Okay. See, it lists all the directories inside this absolute path. All different directories inside this absolute path. Okay. And as you can observe, this is a list. Directory names is a list, right? Now let's move inside this directory Octanet. So suppose in command prompt, what you write if you want to move inside some directory, first of all, let's list all the directories. List all the directories. Dir command is used to list all the directories. If I want to move inside one directory, what I will do, cd and name of the directory, and we will move inside that directory. Okay. Some similar thing we are going to do here. First of all, we want to move inside Octanet, right? So what we will do was dot change directory, and what we will provide directory names index 0, right? And if now I will try to print the current working directory. Mhm. Okay, sorry, you cannot run this twice. Yeah, so the current working directory is Octanet. Let me close this again. In OS files, you cannot run one command more than once, because when you change the directory and move inside some other directory, it again tries to open the same directory twice. See, earlier we are working with this particular directory. Now we have moved inside Octanet, right? Now let again check for different directories, and let me use another block. So these are different directories right now. Okay, so let's move inside. Instead of this 8, let's pass directory names -1, last element, and again print the current working directory. Current working directory, that is /8. Include block. List all the directories here. We have pycatch and temp as a directory. See, you can see that there are multiple files are also here, right? So if you want to check that the current name is a file or a directory, there is one another method is there. If os dot is directory, and we have to pass the name for that. Let's suppose take directory names 1, right? So this is not a directory, d1.ipynb, this is a file, right? So pass else print file. Mhm. Yeah. So we are getting file. Why? Because this d2.ipynb, this one is a file. So what we are trying to do, we are trying to move inside this particular, and you cannot run change directory with a file name, right? You cannot run change directory with a file name. It will throw an error. Okay, you cannot move inside a file, right? You can open a file for processing, but you cannot move inside a file, right? So what I'm trying to do, if it is a directory, let's move inside that directory. So the name of the directory is PyCatch. Now, how to iterate over this one, right? Let's remove this one. For names, name in directory name. Okay. Yeah. Now, if I want to print, okay, let's not take the full name. Only go with git block. This will be enough, right? If any name is a directory, move me inside that particular directory, right? If any name is a directory, move me inside that particular directory. But my aim is to access this PyCatch directory. Okay, and let's move our data inside temp. So my aim is to move inside temp directory, not any other directory, but specifically only inside temp directory, right? So what I will do, if name is equal to temp and was is and it is a directory, move me inside that directory, break from here, and let's check the current working directory. See, we have moved inside this directory, and right now we are inside temp directory. Okay, all these employee text, everything, these are files. But when the for loop encounter this temp directory, we are moved inside that temp directory. Okay, now let's list all the data here. Okay, so what we will do, print this dot this directories, and the name is os dot get current working directory. So there is only one file here, that is system log. Now let's get the file path. File path. Okay. So the absolute path for system log will be os dot amps path, and we will use system log. Okay, and this will give me the absolute path of file path. Absolute path of file path. Whenever you are trying to open a, you can say, a file, use file path, absolute file path. Right. So up till now we have seen that how to use OS module to navigate to your working directory, to your file directory, right? My code is present in some other directory, my file is present in some other directory, how to navigate there, right? Using for navigation, we have used change directory got, sorry, dot get cwd for the current working directory. Okay, and dot list dir to list all the directories in that particular folder. Now let's talk about how to work with a csv file. Okay, so okay, system.log is not a csv file. Let's first create a CSV file using system.log, then we will work with the CSV file. Guys, while working with system.log file, we will learn about one more crucial topic, that is regular expressions. Okay. See, if I will try to read this particular line, it is a very, there are multiple information present in this one single line. Okay. I only want that it is a info or an error. I only want to find this. It is an info or an error. I want to find this particular name. Okay. And I want to count that. Right? I want to count that. I think that is only the, we don't want that name. We want the name of the error or name of the information. In this case, we only want error. So we will only log the errors. Okay. Now, how to do that? So first of all, whenever you want to work with a regular expression, you have to import a module. Now, what is a regular expression? It is a regular expression. So, in a suppose I have a string, okay, a string which contains multiple information. For example, I have a string which contains some values like this. This is an error, right? And put a colon here, give some numbers, right? I want to find that in this inside this string error is present or not. The string error is present or not. What we can do? Import array. Okay. What we can do? First of all, we can create a list out of this, and it is a naive method. We are not going to use this one. Right. We will run a for loop elements in my list. Right. If element is double equal to error, print error is present. Now, okay, see, this one is not providing me any output, right? As error is present there, but if you when you will try to print this list, you will observe that each and every character is separated here, right? But I want a single word to be in a index. I want my list to look like this. This is an error like this. I want my list like this. For that, we will use dot split. Right? See, now what is the use of dot split? Whenever you will use dot split with any string, this will return you a word at a time. This, then after that it will encounter a space, so it will break. Is after that it will encounter a space, so it will break, and like this. Okay, it will break your string into each single word. So this is one of the way of finding that error is present in your string or not, right? Now, one of the another way is, suppose I will do dot search. Okay, so we have discussed about formatted strings, right? Whenever I will write uh, f and after that double quotes and write anything, this one is known as formatted string. There is one more type that is known as a raw string. Okay, we'll put r before any string, it will become a raw string. Okay. Okay. we have to find for error in a string. The name of the string is mystr, and let's print the results. Right? See what we are getting a re.match object. Okay, it is a re is as we know that we are importing re is a class, right, with different, right, with different parameters, different methods. Okay, so re is a module. Inside that, this search, what we are getting an object, and it says that error is found between the index 11 to 16. Okay, error is found between the index 11 and 16. So from 11 to 16, error is present inside the string. But if I will try to find errors with s, we are getting none. Right? Means the value is not present inside the string. Okay, so if I will just try to write a simple if else block, like if re is present, if re print error is present, else print no error. Okay, so these are the two ways to find for uh, to match any string. Remember re.search, there are multiple different types of regex expressions, right? Let me write those. In regex we have multiple options like find all, search, split. This is split, and this split, both are different. And sub and find iterator, no need for those right now. Okay, suppose I have multiple errors here. Okay, one error, one another error. There is a difference between a re search and a for loop search. These three results are from the for loop. Okay, error is present in loop. Okay, so these three results are from loop. But what this search will do, this search will only search for a single uh, error, right? That even a single error is present or not, and it will only give you the range or the index of that error, that one error only. Okay, you will get the address or the length of that one error only. But if you want to find all the occurrence of a string, right, all the occurrence of error, you will use print, instead of search, find all. Okay, and you will get all these three errors. Now guys, you can observe the difference of output. Find all returns you the list. Okay, it returns a list. It gives you the list of every occurrence. But what this search will do, it will provide you only a object, right, with the span, I mean the length or the starting index of the occurrence, right? And if you will try to find something which is not present inside the list, you will get an empty list. Not present inside a string, you will get an empty list. Okay, so this is just a small overview to work with regular expression. Now suppose I want to get only these numbers. I don't want anything, I want to get this number, right? How to do that? So I will do print, let's use find all. There is no need to use find all here, we can go with string also, but okay. and MySTR. Now, see, matching, matching, matching. Okay, leave that. So whenever you are trying to search for any number, right? Let's use Python, just a regular expression. Yeah, yeah, this should give some data. Okay. This is a practice box. Okay. So whenever you are targeting to match a set of characters, okay, you have to use brackets, right? A set of character. It means I am trying to match a set of characters, right? Error is good, no problem. If I will put this error in a bracket, right? Or find all, we'll see the result better in find all. We are getting each character. We are getting each character. Okay. Why? Because this set of brackets will define that it is not treated as a string, rather than it will be treated as a single character. This find all is going to search for a single E, then after that it will search for R, then O, then R, like that. Okay. Now, if I want to search for a number 0 to 9, okay, let's see the output. This is our output. We get all these three numbers, right? Suppose it is not, we have to use dot get. Okay. So this helps us to get a range, right? 0 to 9 is a range. So I want to access a particular range of numbers, right? Suppose if I only want a range of 0 to 8 or 0 to 5, so we will get only the numbers from 0 to 5 that is present inside this string, anywhere inside this string. Okay. Now let's move a little bit toward our operation. Let's take one string. So this is a string. What I want info. I want this created ticket. Okay. So how to extract those? Okay. You want to local ticket. Guys, if you have any doubts, you can put them on the chat. Okay, let me go for the chats. Okay. Right. Okay, this one. Suppose I want to look for this info. So what I will do, re.search info in log file, right? Let's take this one as log one. In log one, if a is not equal to none, right? A is not equal to none means search operation, the regex search operation is find some data. We have some data there, right? Okay, let's take all these. What we will do, just print log one, right? So what we have done, if info is present inside this particular log file, print that log. Okay, this is just the starting of a operation, right? Now how to do it with uh, the entire file system.log file. Okay, so what we will do, let's open that with open file path. The file path variable is here, file path, right? File path. Okay, in reading mode as log file. Okay, now let's create a reader. Read is equal to log file dot. If we will take read lines, it is going to read all the lines. Okay, let's take read lines. Okay, for line in read, right? Let's create this. Okay, for a single log, let's take this one. Okay, instead of log one, let's use log. Instead of info, let's use error in log, right? So we got all these strings in which there is an error, right? We got all the strings, there is an error. What is the use of this read and read lines? You have opened a log file, and the name of the log file in your system, in your script, is log file. Okay, what we are using dot read lines to read entire file inside one variable, that is read. If I will print read, if I will print read, you can see that the entire file is there. Okay, entire file is there, right? Now this is not a good practice. Why? Because in our case the file is a small file, but if you are trying to open a file of uh, larger size like 1 GB or 2 GB, it is not a good practice to create a variable of size 2 GB, right? For that, directly use log file dot read, not lines line, right? And this log file dot read line will give it to the log. Okay, and this search will search for the error in the log, but earlier we are getting some output, in this time it's not. And why this? So if I will try to print the log, you will observe that we are getting each and every character one at a time, right? This is a single character and another single character, so it's reading line by line, one character at a time, j at a time, after that a, after that n, and like that, right? So just use read lines, you will get all the information here, right? Now We got all the errors. What this read line is doing, instead of saving all that data inside one single variable, read lines will read a single line, give that to log file, log variable. Log will parse that, whatever they are doing with that, and it will give us some output. Then it will move to the next line, right? Okay, we have some other options also. Suppose we have log file, not lines, but we have a reader. This one, yeah, that one is present only in CSV files. Okay, so this is one of the way to parse all the data where only error is present, right? Now there are no now. Okay, there are some numbers. Let's try to extract those numbers. I want error. I want number. Number like mm, any number from 0 to 9. Okay. See guys, when we search for an error, we get all this data, but I don't want that data. I only want to display this error, right? This error string and nothing else. What we will do, a dot get, we can get attributes, and we have match there, right? So instead of search, search will return us not a value but a range. Okay, in this time, not change anything. Move with log, but in our message, in our output, we have to parse the error and their counting. So let's do that. First of all, yeah, another code with open. The file we are opening is system log in a read mode as log file, right? Let's create a dictionary. Okay, and first let's call it frequency. Call it error frequency. Okay, it's an empty dictionary. What we will do, first of all, let's run a for loop for log in log file dot read lines. A is equal to array dot log search r error, comma in log. If error is found in log, if not a, if a, this is another way to check for that a is not a none. If a is a none, then this if loop will this condition will, the output of this condition will be false, right? So if a is not none, there is no need to check uh, by using an expression. Okay, condition. So if a exists, what we will do, we will count that error. Now guys, as we have seen that inside an empty dictionary we cannot insert a new key. Okay, in this manner, right? We are getting an error, we cannot insert a new key like this. So what we have seen that by using set, get, and all those, right? uh, my error frequency dot set default error comma 0 plus 1. Okay, now this is a set default, so if error is not present there, then it will insert the error. Otherwise, if error is not present in error frequency, use set default insert data. Otherwise, just update the frequency of error by 1, and I have to print the dictionary. Right, so error and 66 times, that is the current frequency. This is a way to insert some data into a dictionary, right? There are multiple ways, this is not the only one. Okay, you can insert data into dictionary in multiple different ways, right? This is one of the way. So we have find an error and we have inserted that error, right? Now you can use regex to, I mean, find many more uh, outputs, I mean, many to match many different kinds of other patterns. For example, it is not a very optimal way to just only count the errors. Let's try to count the exact name of the error, right? Let's try to extract this exact name of the error. Okay, now how we will do that? Okay, first of all, yeah, this one. After this information, there is this data, right? So what I want, yeah, let's try to use something like data sub of information, and after that, all the data from A to Z or capital A to capital Z. Okay, missing one required. Okay, I have to provide some indexing here also. Let me provide /1 /2. The two groups will be enough. Okay, instead of just using the whole, we are not getting the required output. I want to replace this particular file, particular width, I mean this particular string, with some other string that I have defined using. Okay, let's, instead of this, let's try hash. If I will directly do a print statement, report. Okay, Okay, we will see about that. Let's take a 5 minute break. Okay, we will come back and move with the extraction of this particular specific information, right? Okay, guys, let's continue. Okay. Okay, so we are trying to access this each particular values or this set of string after information, right? Now, instead of I was trying to using get, but there is no get method. We just have to subscript this one, right? Let me use the first one. Here indexing starts with 1. This small brackets separate each data into indexing, right? So indexing starts with 1, right? I'm getting A. Let's use search in this case. Remove this one. No need for that. For log 1, we are searching for information for the first index, remaining data for the second index. Okay. And if A is not none means we have to create A is not none. Then we have some data and print that data. A is none. But if I will remove this one, we are getting only the information, the info, particular info string, right? So there are some different types of wildcards. Suppose if I want to match each and everything, right, like any characters, I can use a dot, right? So see, the situation is like this. After information, I want each and everything, right? Each and every different type of characters. What I will do, another indexing dot, and I will use plus. See, if you want any character to repeat exactly once or more than once, I mean exactly more than once, right? You will use plus. If you want any character to be repeated 0, 1, 2, 3, or any number of times, including 0, you will use asterisk. So after information, I want some data, right? So that's why I'm not using asterisk. I am using plus. What this regular expression means, that there is a information, right, info string present, right? Pick that info string. After that, pick each and everything into index number 2, right? Let's try to print that index number 2, and we are getting all the values here inside index number 2, including this particular space. Including this particular space, we are getting all the values, right? Again, this one is not my correct output. I doesn't want all these things, all this data. I only want this created ticket, right? I don't want each and every data, right? So what I will do, see, okay, www regular expression table. We can use forward slash to remove that, and we'll use W for any words, forward slash W for any words that should be repeated more than once. And you can also exempt this one, right? Multiple of these. Let's see. Yeah, we are getting this value. Good. So in error message, we have to, in error, okay, there is no asterisk, right? Where it's chart. Okay. Forward slash, I'm using forward slash small w, right? Forward slash small w. It is you. Forward slash W is used for any word. Word include only alphabetical characters. Okay, alphabetical characters means this modulus, it each and every character in this string is an alphabetical character. So what I'm trying to do here is that separate info in another index, separate all the related data, all the after upcoming data into another index. Now this forward slash bracket, it means you have to look for a bracket. If the bracket is starting, find all the characters inside that bracket, find all the characters inside that bracket, and the bracket should close. Okay, so this big string was found. Now what I am trying to do, I'm trying to separate this info into index 1, this remaining data into index 2, and this data into index 3. Right, if I will try to print index 3, we will get that name. If you will try to print index 0, you will get that particular data, means the particular string which is found inside your log 1. And by using subscripting, by using every single index, we are trying to access our required, each required particular data. Okay, let's use a space here so we won't get space inside our created ticket. Right, we will get space with info. So we are trying to match something. Okay, so we are trying to match something which start with a info and a space. After that, take any character, right, and look for an opening bracket. Look for an opening bracket. Inside that, any character also include any character, means any symbol or whatever type of characters there are. Look for an opening bracket. Inside that, is there any doubt in the chat? Okay. So look for an opening bracket. Inside that, find any number of string which includes only alphabetical characters. Forward slash W means alphabetical characters, right? All alphabetical characters, and there should be a closing bracket. So this forward slash opening bracket and forward slash closing bracket is to match with the string. Okay, match with the string, not to separate an index but to match with the string. That's why I'm using escape character, that is forward slash, right? Okay, this particular one, this W, this is for separating the data into another index, right? Okay, so look for this data. This info is our index 1, this remaining string will be our index 2, and this remaining data is our index 3. See, our remaining, this third data is not including brackets. Third data is not including brackets, right? Why? Because this particular bracket, wait, yeah, this bracket, this single bracket, this bracket defines the index, right? And this forward slash bracket, this checks for a bracket in the string. It is not defining the index, it checks for the bracket in the string, right? Array, yeah, going to lag. This one was creating all these cells, right? I have deleted some important cells. Okay, we will generate again. Okay, so this one is our log one. Yeah. Again, so let's save them in a result with re.search. What you are searching for? Search me a set of string which will start with info space. Look for some random characters multiple times. Look for a opening bracket and separate that in another index which only contains word file more than one times, word characters, each character more than one time, right? Now after this, what we will do, use if result, means if result exists, print what we want, result 1 and result 2. So this is r is not defined, I have to execute each one, leave those. Let's import re here, import re. Hmm? Oh, sorry, I have to pass the string log one. Okay, so this is our information. This is the particular ticket which is just closed, right? Okay. Now let me take this control Z. Okay, not good with that. I have to eventually run all the. Why I'm getting error here? The directory name is invalid. dy t1.ipy. Okay, so our current working directory is good. So let's first check our current working directory. Print was dot get current working directory. Okay, so we are inside /8. We have to move inside this directory, right? Temp directory. So what we will do, west.ch change directory, move inside temp. Now we are inside temp directory. Yeah, so we are we are inside temp directory. Remove this one. Okay. Now let's try to open. So with open our system log in read mode as log file. Okay, let's try to create a dictionary. Info, let's take it as info dictionary, information dictionary. Okay, what we will do for line in. Okay, so what we will try to do, we will try to do read log files, and we will try to count the frequency of each information we will get, right? Okay, right. So we will use log file. Okay, now what we will do, we have to find the data. So let's first create a regex. So let's create a pattern. What we are looking for, regex pattern, look for an info, and after that look for multiple characters occurring more than once, look for an opening bracket, look for multiple characters inside that bracket, look for a closing bracket. If you will get this one, this is the, if you will get this one, what we will do, let's parse this result re dot search the line, uh, and this is our pattern with the line. If we will get the result, if so, see inside our line there are multiple data, right? Data like error information and all those. So if result exists, right, and result one double equal to info, so result will only exist if we will get the information, right? So there is no need to check, but for clarity, right, for understanding, you can use this condition also, right? Now if result one exists, what we will do, let's create a dictionary here. Oh, we have created a dictionary. So if result one not in info, directly let's try some another method, right? Result dot update, not result, then dictionary name is info dot update, right? And the key is result one. So with update we use key value pair, right? So the key is result one, then info dot set default, inside that result one comma 0 plus 1. So this will be our value, and let's try to print info. Mm, Error, nothing to repeat at position 14. Read out such pattern line. We have to search for a particular pattern, and that one is our pattern. What I have search for a pattern in the line. We are taking line from log file. We have to take line from log file dot read lines, right? And read lines. And if result means result exists, after that we will check for tuning error source still. Hmm. We are using exactly same thing, right? Log one, in this case we have a line. Okay, let me just try to print line. If I will try to print line not using read lines, we will get each line. Okay, that's good. Okay, and I'm trying to search for a pattern in the single line. There's not be an error. If I will try to check the type of this line, it's string. That's also good. So what's the problem here? In this case, I have to use two. If result one is still equal to info log files pattern, then it is wrong. Line 6, search string. Hmm. And let me provide the absolute path for this one, file path. That's no, I mean, there is no problem with that. We didn't receive any problem with file. Print re dot search, re dot search r, and let's take info space from line, and let's try to print on the index one. That's good. Okay, after two lines, we are getting an error. Two lines are good. On line number three, we are getting the error. In line number three, there is an error. Right? The ticket was modified. Okay, so let's try to search for an error space or information. Let's try to do pattern here. Mm-mm. Info space or error. Okay. So this particular piping, I mean this OR operation or symbol is used to check this string is present or this string is present. Any one of the string, right? We are getting an error because this search was not able to find information inside that particular line. So we are getting some parser error there, right? So now we have to look for that also. I mean to say that instead of information, suppose I want to search for an error, and that error string is not present in this log one, right? So yeah, so that error is string is not present in that log one. Result is none. If I will print result, I will print result. Result will be none. But in this case, in this our particular with open, whenever a result was created, that result remains valid value. Okay, see, in information 1 and 2, in line number 1 and 2, we find the valid values, right? But after line number 2, we are not able to find valid values, so we are getting an error. Okay, so what we will do, we will look for both information and error. Okay, but only if the result one contains information, then only we will update our dictionary. I have updated the pattern, right? In my pattern, instead of using the pattern, if I will try to enter, okay, if I will go for an error, I won't get this w, right? I'm written this one wrong. Now it's good. I have to remove, if I will remove this error, then again this code. Yeah, so the error was in this particular w, right? See, for each different information, I am getting their frequency. So each information is repeated only once. Each information was repeated only once, right? Suppose I want the data till this, okay, and after that I will look for an opening square bracket, a closing square bracket. Inside that bracket, I will look for any character, look for hash, and after that I will look for 0 to 9. What we will get in index 2, we will get only this particular commented on ticket or closed ticket things, right? Only those strings. We are not getting those strings. Let's print result 2. Hash was the start 0 to 9 repeated at least more than once, right? Index 1, index 2. If I will print result index 2, and then okay, so we have to check for none also, right? If result is none, we cannot pass this one. Print result 2 is not working, right? We are separating the data. Let's take wildcard. Okay, so guys, this is one of the ways. Okay, let's take the wildcard here. Yeah, so because we are using a wildcard in this particular position, we are not able to look for any another bracket until unless these set of characters were encountered, right? So if you want to check for any other set of characters other than a alphabetic character, right? Any other character other than an alphabetic character, you can use capital W. Right? Capital W will look for any other different type of character other than alphabetical characters. For example, if I will look for characters like, okay, not result 2, let's instead of this take W plus. Yeah. So what I will do, I will just look for all the characters which are not an alphabet, right? Characters like these. So you can segregate this one also in different index, all these in different index, right? Now let's move toward creating our log files. Okay. Now, if you'll study this one, there is a particular row, error and count, that defines the column. For each and every error, you have your frequency and the error name, right? Okay, so let's use, okay, let's remove this one, make it to the normal one. And this same pattern works for, this same pattern works for error files also, because inside error logs, there is no, I mean, string which is containing all the digits or only digits, right? So if you are trying to access all this at once, this is only the name of your error, right? Now, so we want to create a file, right? After creating this data, so this is our sample output. I want to write another output, right? Like error message 2.csv. Okay, for that we have to import some another module. For example, if I will import, I have to import OS, but I have done that earlier also. Import a regular expression, import CSV, right? This CSV is a module which helps you to create CSV file or operate with CSV files, right? CSV stands for comma separated values. Okay, a very common format whenever you are working with data. Now, log file always use the absolute path. So os dot path dot absolute path of system log dot log. Okay. Now let's create a error file, right? First of all, let me create. It is not necessary to always create your resultant file. That resultant file may be created when you are trying to write, but it is a good practice to first create your resultant file, the file where you want to store the resultant data. So parsed error. dot csv. Okay, let's take it as error file. First dot path dot absolute path of first error dot csv. Okay, we have the data for error file and all these. Now, so what we will try to do, see, we have discussed about functions and all these things, right? So we will create a function, okay, a function which will parse all these log files and return you a dictionary, right? We are trying to return a dictionary. Okay, now suppose define log parser. Okay, what we are expecting, we are expecting log file. So let's take log file, and this one is taking giving you the absolute path of the log file. Okay, let's create a dictionary of error. Okay, this dictionary contains the error. I have to check my mails. Give me a minute, guys. Okay, yeah, creating an error dictionary like this instead of information. I am looking for error. Okay, now open the file. Open log file for read as, let's take the name as data. Okay, now in data we have to search for some pattern. Okay. And the pattern we are looking for is exactly the same pattern, right? Okay, in our pattern we are looking for information, right? So not information, I mean error. Okay, so error. Okay, let's create a temporary dictionary. Now why this temporary dictionary? After checking for each and every output, means each and every error. Okay, so we can directly update inside that error also. Let's try to do that first. If we will need, we will create a temporary dictionary. For line in data, we will use result re dot search dot search for pattern in this particular line. Okay, and if result, means if result exists, right, what we will try to do. Now this is again one another way of inserting data into a dictionary, a new data into the dictionary. Result2 is equal to result dot get result2. If result2 is not present, give me 0, add 1. Okay, now when this ends, we have each and everything about a result, right? Means we have created this particular dictionary. Okay, let me show you the output. Dictionary for error. I'm calling log parser with log file equal to log file we have created, right? and let me return this error from here. Return error. Okay, and let me try to get result. Let's print the result. Okay, see, this particular is our each and every error with their frequency, right? The number of times that error occurred. Okay, now our task is to create a different file and write this result inside that file, right? So let's create a function also, define a CSV parser. We are expecting to get our error file, yeah, error file to open. We are also expecting a result or a dictionary, error dictionary, to save data inside this one, right? Error dictionary to save data inside that file. So this dictionary is containing our error dictionary, right? So how does the file call will look like, the function call will look like? We are providing error file, and the name of the error file is error file itself, and the result dictionary. Okay, now this error positional argument cannot appear, keyword argument. Okay, right, we are providing error dictionary. Now inside this, what we will try to write, so with open, we have to open error file in write mode, so in W mode. You can I mean open in an append mode, but in this case we are trying to open in write mode. Okay, we will write, by write mode we will override every data that will be present inside dictionary, right? So it depends on you want to use in. Okay, so let's open this one in append mode, right? Now in append mode you have two options. Suppose there are some data present inside your file, right? So you have two options. You want to start from here only after a space, or you want to start from a new line. Okay, so what we will try to do, we'll try to start with a new line. Okay, as let's name it as file only. Okay, now we have to write our code here to write all the data, right? Now first of all, guys, we are going to work with CSV, so there are some of the important, I mean, methods present in CSV for working with files. First one is CSV. Take it as a writer. Another one is known as dictionary writer, right? CSV writer, we have dictionary writer. Then there are also read. All these operations are present inside CSV. So in this case, what we are trying to do, we are trying to write, right? I mean, we are trying to write. So we will create a writer. So writing into a CSV file is a bit different as compared to another files. Okay. First of all, what we are trying to do, CSV dot writer, we are trying to write inside this file, right? We are trying to write inside this file. Okay. The first thing we want inside our CSV file is a row which only contains error and count. A row which only contains error and count. So writer dot write row, only a single row, and what we want to write, error. What else we want to write, count. Error and count. After this, we want to parse through from key comma value in our error dictionary, the dictionary we have created, parsed. Okay, it's good. Okay, could not be resolved. I have used key somewhere else or what? Was shouldn't throw any error values. Key not from, yeah, 4. Yeah. Okay. For writer dot write row, what we want to write, the first thing, as you can observe here, the first thing is your key, the second one is your value. Okay, so the first one is my key and the second one is our value. Okay, now no need to close the file after this because we have written everything inside with block. Okay, now let's try to run this one. We have some error here. Okay, too many values to unpack in error. Error is a result, right? The result, too many values to unpack. Okay, sorry, error. So it's a dictionary, we have to return each item. So in dictionary we return items, right, to get the tuple, and then we unpack that tuple to get the data. So the file runs. I think I have given the right correct name. Okay, the pass.csv, we have a pass.error csv here, we have a pass.error csv here. Yeah, so all the data is stored here. Okay, you can see that there is a space in front of each and every character. Let me remove that space. So here, try to get that space with error. Okay, we are trying to get that space with error. Everything works fine. Wait, no need for this past error. I want this one. Okay. See, as we are using append with a new line, so the new data is written here. Okay. If I will, instead of append, I will try to use write. I will try to use write. We have executed this one. Each and every data, earlier data was deleted, right? If see, I have inserted some other data, okay, and I am trying to write on this file using w, not append, right? All the previous data was deleted and the new data is present here. So that is the difference, basic difference between using write and append. Okay, now we have done everything for error. We can create same output for information, right? But in information, each and every ticket is having its own number, right? Each and every ticket has its own number. So all these tickets are going to be a unique value, so there is no need to calculate the frequency. You can calculate the frequency of information, how many times information has appeared. We have done that already, right? And if I will update this one with only one, means we are in this group, we are only looking for information 1, right? So we will get information is 28. There are 28 information and all those data. If you want to write this, if suppose this past error.csv, I want that inside this one, right? Okay, let me discuss how to work with CSV files. Up till now, what we have seen that using some log files, we have created a CSV file, right? But if you want to work with a CSV file, okay, so there's not enough time to discuss those things. Okay, let's learn about one new module, that is utils, right? So import sh util as sh import util as ps. suppose you are in your system, you want to check for that how much is your CPU is taking, right? What means what is the percentage of your CPU that is working right now, or you want to check the disk usage, means the data that is present in your disk, how much, what is the percentage of the disk that data captures, how much the size of your disk that is empty or free right now. If you want to do that, we can use, suppose, okay, let's create a function. Guys, always try to create a function for some specific use case. Okay, so create a let's try to create a function to get CPU usage, right? Okay, guys, if you have any doubt, put them on the chat. I'm not connected or what? Okay, now CPU usage. Inside this, we have to just pass. Let's take a time. In each time, we will check for CPU use. Let's create a CPU. For that, we use PS. PS util will look for your CPU. So PS dot CPU percent in 10 seconds. How much CPU will be used? Okay, and let's print CPU. That will be enough. Let's create a method to just calculate disk usage. So check disk usage, right? I want the disk for this one. What we will do, usage is equal to sh dot disk usage for my disk, right? And let's print the usage. If that's enough. Let me call these with, let me call this and check disk usage. Okay, so if you want to check the use of any particular disk, you have to provide the location. For root folder, that is just a forward slash, right? For another folder, you have to provide the path. Okay, how much that folder is taking in the disk. Okay, and for CPU, just use CPU usage. That will be enough. After 10 seconds, it will give me the CPU use. We have the CPU usage 23.7%. This is my total disk, free size, and all those things. Okay. Now, suppose I want to, let me print os dot get current working directory. This is my, it's a function called current working directory. Okay. This is my current working directory. If I want to pass this, why this error, the file and directory name volume level syntax is incorrect. There is a space here, right? So we have to remove the space. No, it's not correct. Let me use triple quotes. So there is a error because in my I'm in my disk, the absolute path, there is a space between the name of the directory, right? Instead of these, let's try to look for only the C drive. This is the total size of my C drive, that C drive usage. Okay, yeah. So guys, if you have any doubt, then let me know. Otherwise, we will close the session. We have discussed about parsing CSV files, not CSV, exactly CSV file, how to create CSV file or work with different file systems, only the log file, and we have discussed about regular expressions, a bit about regular expressions, working with files, OS module, right? So this is one of the reason these codes are always written inside a single Python script, because whenever you are trying, I will be trying to execute this part, this particular cell, it will throw me an error, because right now we are inside temp directory, and there is no, I mean, we cannot change the directory to some other directory, right? Because inside temp there is no other directory. Yeah, and CSV files can be. Do I have anything like import of txt? Yeah. This is one more CSV file, a type of CSV file. In CSV file, there are different categories. Okay, it's I mean the only the definition of CSV file is comma separated values, but in CSV files there can be values which are tab separated or space separated. Okay, tab separated or space separated. Suppose let me create a script. Let me move this file inside temp. I only want to read this employee.txt. Okay, so what I will do with open open employee.txt in read mode, right? Okay, I have to import CSV here as data reader CSV.reader data. Okay, and for line in reader, let's try to print the line. Okay, so this is the type of data we will get, and you can observe that inside the text file, wherever there is a comma, each data is taken not as a space, but whenever there is a comma, each data is taken as a single unit, a single data, right? So the name is taken as a single data. After that, the username and then the department, all these things. Okay. Suppose I want to create a dictionary where I want to just aggregate the username of all who are using development, right? A username of all who are whose department is development, right? So what I want, suppose I want a user dictionary, right? I have to save the department as the key and username as a list, right? So what I will do, if we have to do this inside the for loop only. I have to create user outside the for loop. Yeah. Instead of printing the line, what we will try to do, index number two is containing department, index number one is containing. Okay, so what we will try to do, user reader, not reader, line one. Let's take some meaningful data. Let's take as row. So row 2 as our key is equal to user dot get row 2, or take an empty string and append. You have to use append to insert the row 1 data, right? And after this, let's try to run it. I was getting an error. List object has no attribute APPEND. Hmm? If row 1 row 1 in user row 1 dot append row 1, we have to take for row 2. Row 2 was our department. Otherwise, let's insert a user dot update with a key of row 2 and data of a list of row 1. I think this will work. Yeah. So department username, development, these many sales, these many human resources, these many. So there is no need for department username. So let's drop this one. What we will use for that, user dot pop, what we want to pop, department. Yeah. Again, this key was not found. Department with a space, that will work. Not a following space. Yeah. So we have all these data, right? So guys, see, these trailing spaces are really a headache, right? As you can see right now that I got some error here, right? And that is not a good thing. So what you will do, you can use dot trim. What this trim will do, it will just it will just delete all those white spaces, trailing white spaces from the data. What happened? User trim, trim was in another language, in Java. You have to use strip. Control D. Yeah. Okay. So now we are not getting any trailing spaces, right? Any extra space before any string. Okay. And we have all this data. Okay, guys. So let's conclude our session.